Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Ron and E podcast. I'm Elijah. We got Ron on here. Today we have a special guest, my man Justice. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yo, what up, y'all? Named Justice. I'm also a YouTuber on the gaming side of the community at Just Serving. Just Space Serving with two N's at the end. And yeah, I'm just ready to vibe.
Yeah. Make sure y'all go subscribe to him. So today's topic we're gonna be talking about the current state of high school sports, the recruiting, the rankings, how to get scholarships, all that, and then we'll also be talking about the current state of COVID, dealing with the spring seasons, the cancellation of seasons, and all that. So the first topic I want to talk about, obviously, is the current state of high school sports. So I want to get what is y'all opinions on it? Like how do y'all feel? Like how do y'all feel about it? Like is it a let's say a politic type of thing, or is it just like if you're good, you're good enough to get an offer? How do you guys view it?
So I kind of look at it as high school is just some people play for the experience and some people play it to take it to the next level. So in my eyes, when I first started high school, I actually took football serious, and then I had a bad dislocated shoulder injury, and I kind of like fell off with football. I got out of shape and everything, so I kind of put my football career to my past, and I started playing more for experience, which was a good experience, although my team wasn't that good. But I think overall football, it also is a character builder. It's not just about playing the sport and being good. It comes with lessons. It comes with everything else, with like just your character, how you act, and how you build your personality and stuff.
Yeah, Ronald, from the outside looking in, how do you think, or what do you think the recruiting process goes, or just high school sports in general?
Yeah, I mean, on the outside looking in, I'm a huge football fan. I watch it really closely, and I feel like high school football is definitely like a really good opportunity for these young kids out here really trying to make a name for themselves and kind of go to ultimately where they want to go. I mean, I feel like COVID's kind of did them some injustice. I feel bad for those kids who have really been working hard all their lives and can't really put up the film that they want to because of COVID and stuff. But I mean, some schools, trying to do a little spring thing, I guess, for the kids, which I thought was a really good idea. And I mean, just the whole situation all around is really unfortunate. I feel bad. As a player myself, I feel bad for those guys, man. All the work they put in.
Yeah, for me, my opinion about high school sports, I definitely think, it's politics. I think all our dads grew up in the era where you can go to any high school that you could, your local high school really, and you can get a big time Division 1 offer. But like now, it's like you gotta go to the Mathers, you gotta go to the Gonzagas, the St. John's, all those type of high schools, and I just feel like it, it's like this. There's three. I there's two or three types of players that get recruited. There's always the highly skilled ones. Then there's the underdogs who just blow up out of nowhere in their senior years. And then you just got the kids who just got sized. I really feel like that deals with a whole bunch of wide receivers and offensive linemen mainly. Because, you can be sick. Anybody can be, not anybody, but majority of people can be 6'5", 300 pounds. But if you're 6'5", 300 pounds and you're trash and you get all these big time offers, it's just because of your size. And that's why I really feel like a lot of players, a lot of big time players, I'm not trying to throw shade, but that's how they get their offers, just because they're big. And colleges hope and pray that, somehow they can get it to them to where they go to those big time colleges or wherever they go, and teach them actually how to play football. But yeah, I definitely feel like it's politics. You know, you go to the right school, you know, or the big time school in your area, you can get a big time offer.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, go
Um,
ahead.
yeah. To kind of cut in, I mean, yeah, because like it's just sad that you have to kind of go to those kind of schools because not everybody has that type of money. You know what I mean? Like those schools
Hmm.
are expensive. I mean, I went to a private school in elementary school, and my mom was telling me how expensive it was and stuff like that, and that's why I came to public and stuff. I mean, that stuff is no like. It's just I feel like they need to make it a better way of giving everybody the same opportunity. It's really not fair because some of these guys are really talented in public school.
Yeah. So yeah, coming from Stone, you know, if people go D1 in our county, it's like the bare minimum D1. You know, like Delaware. You know, like schools like that. You never see no big like the biggest D1 school is probably Maryland, and that's within our state.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm pretty sure there have been people who like go to school outside of our state, but like they don't get the same scholarship opportunities that sometimes they're coming out of pocket, and sometimes they got to rely on their academics. Like some kids, some kids are just some certified athletes. Like they just their grades aren't all that good, but they be balling, and their grades are good enough for college. So I just feel like a lot of the times you gotta depend on academics really when coming from public school for scholarship money. So that's how I kind of look at it, and I just don't, like you said, like people don't have money like that. Like if I had a choice, of course I would go to private school because that's where you have the better opportunity to finish your sports career at a private school. So I definitely, there's some inequality in, public schools versus private schools. And, if my friends could go to private schools, I always wanted them to. Like, if they could go to a better school than where I was at and they were serious about football, I would just be like, I mean, you might as well leave because there's, there's a slim chance that you actually, go somewhere. And I'm not saying you can't make it to the league from D2, but like it's a lot tougher, or if you go junior college route, that's way tougher. So in D3, it's just like half our county is going to McDaniel. No offense to them, you
Yeah.
know. I mean, get it how y'all can get it, and I respect y'all for continuing y'all football career because like when I was like going through like recruitment and stuff, you know, a lot of D3 schools came. That's when I was just like, what am I playing football for? If I go to a D3 school, I'm not going to go nowhere. So it's kind of like maybe I just lost passion in the sport, and so I'm not going to speak for everybody, but I just feel like D3 is just like it's a slim chance that you actually make it out. So that's how I
Yeah,
look at it.
yeah, man, I totally agree with what you just said, man. Cause I remember, like, for me, actually, yeah, for me, when I was growing up playing football, I always had the mindset, that I was going to go to Stone, and I was going to go to Maryland or something like that, or another big time school, But then I believe right after my freshman year, I was looking at some of my other friends that I used to play youth ball with, and they're going to all these private Catholic schools that I just never heard of, and I'm seeing them getting like offers like Maryland, Michigan State. I'm like, what where are my offers, And I admit, looking back, my freshman year I was trash. I was playing D line, but still, I was blessed enough for to go to two different private schools. I went to the Method and National Christian Academy for my last year, but that's where I feel like politics came into play, especially at the Mather. At the Mather, you know, my you guys know my history at the Mather. You guys know how I feel about them. But my 2 years at the Mather I say they were very eye opening. You know, I was originally supposed to attend there my freshman year, but I ended up going to the summer school and I didn't do so well. So after that, the coaches were like, "Oh, he's gonna be fine. We're gonna get him tutored, stuff like that," and they just never hit us up. So we didn't know why they didn't hit us up. So we just ended up going to Stone. And then when news broke out that I was going to transfer from Stone to go to a private school, that's when all these private Catholic schools are hitting me up. Pilates, St. John's, Mac, and DeMatha. But I felt like if I wanted to go to a big time school, the only school that was going to give me the opportunity to take me there was DeMatha. And this is the time where DeMatha at the time they had Chase Young, Anthony McFarland, they had Bo, they had Tino, they had all these guys, and Chase is in the league right now. So I'm thinking like, if I go to DeMatha, screw going to a big time college, I might go to the league. But, sophomore year I go up there and I'm undersized, and I'm at 6'2", 250, and they're telling me I'm undersized. They told me that I need to gain. I know when I was there, they told me I had to gain at least 20 to 30 pounds, and I'm like, I never heard of gaining weight to play football. I just felt like, I was always big enough. But when I finally got up there, I'm looking around, I'm looking at all these other linemen, they're like 6'5", and I'm like, I never seen. It was just weird seeing kids my size. It's like, hey, now you got to compete. You're not the only. You're no longer the biggest guy on the team no more, and that's how I always played. But sophomore year, I ended up not playing at all. So I took my chances. I went and I played JV. So it was really an eye opener for me because I went from starting at Stone for varsity playing defensive end to getting no PT on varsity to playing strictly JV, And then after my sophomore year, I started working out and I believe I grew an inch. So I came out to around like 6'3", 290. And I'm like, yo, this is my junior year. If this is time to get on the field, it should be now. Didn't happen. I got a whole bunch of I remember I had a meeting with the head coach at the time. It was at Maryland. I'll get to that in a second. But, I came to him like, what am I doing wrong? And I never forget what he told me. He said, you're consistently inconsistent. I'm like, what does that mean? He's like, sometimes you play like, you're fine for a Division I scholarship. And other times it looks like you're okay with going JUCO. And that still stuck to me even to this day. I'm like, so what am I supposed to do? I'm not asking like, yo, can I get BT? I'm like, what can I do to better myself? And I feel like they just never gave me that game plan. It was kind of like whoever was the week one starter was going to be the starter for the rest of the season. I didn't feel like I didn't really get my chance. They kept saying like, you earn your roster spot in camp. And I feel like personally for me, I gave them my all during fall camp, heading into my junior year. But after my junior year, just not playing at all, I remember during the championship game, and even weeks leading up to the championship game against Gonzaga, in my head, I'm like, yo, 3 more weeks, I'm out. I was like, I didn't care about practice. I came to practice late multiple times, and I think even the coaches knew that, I'm going out there this season, But even when we lost to Gonzaga in the Hail Mary, I didn't care. I was like, good, no more practice, no more waking up at 6 in the morning to not play at all, But even after that, I was looking to transfer to go to another private Christian school. But the head coach ended up leaving, going to Maryland. And when the new coach came, that's when, he found out. I told him, my parents told me, hey, out of respect, you should tell him that you're leaving. So I ended up doing that. But even but right before I told them that I was transferring, I got an interview with Rivals. They were saying like, what are your goals heading into next season with the Matha? I'm like, I'm not gonna be there. I told her I was gonna leave. I was transferring because I felt like I was more than just a bench warmer, and I knew that. You know, but so before I sat with him, I did that interview, and he said, Elijah, give me 2 weeks. At the time, he didn't know about the interview. He said, Elijah, just give me 2 weeks. If you feel like if we both feel like you're not gonna get the amount of PT that you want, I will help you. He said, I will help you get to another better school and put you in a better situation, and I respect them for that. So a week goes by, and I'm at workouts for team workouts with the Matha, and they were doing, they were calling up for attendance, and my name gets called. It says Lestrap. I'm like, I'm here. Go see Coach so and so. Everybody looked at me, so I'm like, all right. Everybody knows about the interview because they had posted the interview. So I go in this office. He don't even look me in my eye. He's looking at the computer screen, and he's reading. And I see that he pulled up the interview that I did, and he's like, sit down. I'm like, all right. So I sit down. He's like, I'm not happy. I'm reading this, and I'm not happy. Say, I thought you said he's gonna give me 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, I did, but that interview came up before me and you sat down. He was like, I don't know, man. Well, we're gonna put you on team suspension. You're no longer allowed to come to workouts, team workouts, anything team affiliated until we get this all situated. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I took all my stuff. I walked out the gym, called my pops. My pops is like, yo, this MF said this and blah, blah, blah. We told him about the interview, blah, blah. I'm like, Dad, it's ready to go home. So after I leave, he picks me up, tells me, oh, we're done. We're getting you out of here, blah, 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 all that type of stuff. And that's when NCA came into the picture, Coach Cates, that's one man I say a lot to. He gave me the chance because them 2 years of just sitting on the bench, that breaks a player, man. Because it's like, you just sitting there and you're like, am I good enough? And I'm like, and I know for a fact I was better than a lot of those stars on that team. I know that for a fact. And it sucked just watching them. I didn't want to become that toxic player, but just seeing the guys that I knew are better at getting more PT than me, that made me question that, do I want to do this for the next level? Just sit on the bench, and that's one thing I didn't want to do. So I ended up playing my senior year at National Christian Academy, which was it was definitely some. But I got one offer during the season. It was from a D2, from NAIA. But after the season, I'm thinking, all I got was Division II offers, and I'm like, I had the same mindset at the math. I was like, I feel like I'm better than D2. But come January, that's when I got my first Division I offer, and I was very blessed to get that offer. I don't know, but I just think it's crazy how I didn't really play that much football. From 2 years straight, I can admit I didn't play football. My sophomore, junior, I didn't play football. I can't really count those 2 years. So basically, just going from 2 years of football, my freshman and senior year, to get a Division I offer. But I was just very blessed being in that predicament. Yeah.
It's a great story, man.
Appreciate it. Next topic, dealing with the COVID situation. COVID, I think a couple of days ago was the 1 year anniversary of being in quarantine, or just the COVID in general.
Yep.
How has COVID affected you guys personally outside of sports? Just dealing with family, friends. How does COVID affect your social life?
I probably haven't. Like, I've seen my family, but we all haven't been together in about, since I want to say. So we recently had a gathering, but that was the first time since COVID. So COVID started in what, March? My first time seeing my whole family together was, I want to say, September.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like September, for just the celebrations of everybody's birthday in September. They just thought, that would be a good time for everybody to, and not even everybody came because of COVID. So it's definitely affected me seeing my family. And then, just, I don't know. It's just been crazy. It's not what I expected. Fresh out of high school, definitely didn't expect this. But I mean, COVID, it has its cons and it has its pros. Like I definitely think I've gotten my life together with a career. For y'all know that I'm in a program.
Yeah.
That's
And
dope.
I'm blessed that it's free, and I'm actually getting the opportunity to work in a corporate company. So I know that's a real blessing. And I mean I've been considering this since high school because I always had that mindset. I know y'all two are in college, but I just told myself, like, education is important, but I feel like I can learn some of this stuff on my own. Like I'm not about to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to go to school once I could just learn stuff on my own and just read, and So that was just something I always lived by. I said I'm never paying debt. I'm never, and of course, you got a scholarship, so that's pretty blessed, and I'm pretty sure Ron, you got a few scholarships. So I mean, I know, like, I just don't ever want to just be stressing over loans that, I went to school to get a job. And now with this job that I worked 12, how many years of school? 13 years for, now I'm just paying it all back. So I just never, I would just always live my life like I'm not paying debt off for the rest of my life for something that y'all low key forced everybody to do to make it in the society. So when I heard about this program, I was just like, yeah, let's do it. I mean, it's free. If I don't like it, it's free. Like I could just, no money's coming out of my pocket, and it's bettering me as a person, learning how to communicate professionally, how to communicate in a professional corporate company and everything. So it's definitely teaching me how the corporate world goes, and I'm blessed to have an internship with a corporate company. Still getting paid, and this is all free. So that's why That's the pro about COVID. Um, and just the con is just like not being able to see my friends, not seeing being able to see family. You know, it just put a pause on everything, like social wise. Like when everybody get out of high school, they be like, "Oh, we gonna be doing this, we gonna be doing that," and it's kind of like we can't do nothing. I mean, they open up everything, but they ain't gonna help nothing but set us back for another year or something. So it's just, I think COVID has affected me bad in my social life, but it's helped me with my career. So yeah.
Right. It's great, man. Um, for me, so I remember it's a funny story. I remember the first time school got called off from COVID. So I was at lacrosse practice, and we was all huddled up like at the end of practice, and coach just came up to us in the huddle and just said, "No school next week." Like just out of nowhere, like it's the middle of like I don't know, May, I don't know, like March or something, and like we were just like what, and we didn't know how like serious COVID was at the time. So I mean, all of us sitting there like yeah, like yes, those school and stuff like that. So I was happy, and then so we're home. Weeks pass. They keep canceling school over and over. So I'm like, all right, this sweet. Like, all right, we all gotta go. The little online school, high school, that's nothing. So I'm like, we over here, cheating and stuff, whatever, getting it done. But next thing you know, like, Governor Homan, what's it for? Hogan,
Oh,
yeah, Hogan, thanks. Was like, yeah, everything's shutting down and stuff. And I was just like, okay, okay, what is this? And like, then like the whole social distancing started happening, and then I have a lot of family members that have kind of have asthma.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, my little brother, and we're not really allowed to leave the house too much because of that. So I mean, I haven't been able to see my family in like a really long time. I haven't got to see my uncles in like over a year. I haven't. I think what we do though is, I mean, sometimes we'll just drive past their house, but we won't get out the car. So we'll just like sit there in the car while they're socially distanced away from us. So I mean, you can say I haven't like physically been with any family members since like the whole COVID. And I mean, yeah, like Justice said, it just puts like a pause on everything, especially at a time like this where the age we are, where it's like this is where our lives are really starting to begin. Us, we're out of high school now. So like everybody's just excited, like we about to go ahead and do this, do that. We even set up a plan to go to Ocean City before, and like that got canceled, and I was so blown. Like it's crazy. And now it's just like reflecting on a year back, it's just like, damn, we really been like this for over a year now. I mean, it's crazy, man. But yeah, I would definitely describe it as like a pause on our lives and stuff.
Yeah, man. For me, it's affected me greatly. Especially I'm a college football player. Uh, luckily I was able to go on campus for like I believe a good 2 months, 2 to 3 months, and then that's when people started getting COVID. I'm like, yo, I can't be doing this. And when I was there, I actually called my doctor, telling him like, yo, like, is it safe for me? Our season's canceled. We're taking classes online in my dorm. Is it safe for me to be on campus? She said no. You have asthma. You get this stuff. It's not going to affect you as the same as somebody who doesn't have asthma. Because if I were to get it, I'll be one of those people that be in those incubators, so not incubators, but on like the life. I guess you could say life support or whatever. When they like have the tube down and you just in the hospital, you like you
Mhm.
be one of those type of patients. So I gave it 2 weeks. After the first person on my campus got diagnosed with COVID or tested positive for COVID. I said I'm gonna give him 2 weeks. Another person get COVID, I gotta go because I got to think about it. If I get it, I'm gonna be in Pennsylvania all by myself, and they're gonna tell me stay in your dorm until it basically get worse. And they told me the way they handle it is if you were to get COVID, you gotta stay in your dorm, and you got your roommate also has to stay with your dorm because you're not living by yourself. Or I didn't. I had a roommate, and you have to stay in your room, and nobody wanted to be in their dorm. And it's kind of like it really did affect me. So you know, and another person kept getting COVID. It was on the football team. So he said, I got to go. And I opted out. That's why I'm here. If COVID wasn't here, I wouldn't be home. I'll be right now, I'll probably be practicing right now. But, you know, even now, there's some people on the team. I know my position coach himself, he has COVID. And that's my position coach. So it really did affect me. But what when there's a negative, there's always positive, which I somehow always say. But I say one of the positive things I say that I got from this COVID experience, you know, hustling. If you're gonna be sitting on your butt all day, you might as well find a way to either make money or learn something new. And for me, it was stocks. Before COVID, I really wasn't into stocks as much as I was now. You know, with all this AMC and GameStop, me and Ron been dealing with these past couple of weeks. It's been kind of up and down, but in all, I believe I made I put up right the profit I made from AMC alone. Yeah, I made $130 alone profit from AMC when I only put like $90 into it. But COVID is really did affect me both socially and athletically.
So I got a question for you. So you being a football player, you grinding your whole high school career, you coming up not being able to play your junior, your sophomore year, do you at some point, of course at some point you will play football, right?
Mhm.
But when it first started, did you feel like, man, I did all this work for nothing? And you may be able to play. And of
Yeah.
course they recently came out with a rule with you being able to play an extra year if you want, because of COVID. So, but before all of that stuff was in place, did you kind of feel like, man, I'll end up playing football somehow in the next few years, but this year is a waste. Like I've grinded my ass off all year, and now I can't even play.
Uh, I don't. I wouldn't really consider this year as a waste.
Hmm.
I'll more say as a learning experience because for me, you know, uh, it did suck. I admit it sucked. Because at first we went from a couple games being canceled, still having a season, to coaches getting COVID and no season at all. And at first, originally, we were supposed to have a spring season, but then our school themselves decided to opt out of that spring season. So that really told me like, yo, there's no point in going back to this campus. But for the high school seniors and even juniors, those are the kids I really feel bad for because they're in that process of grinding to get that one offer or that one Division 1 offer. So those are the kids I feel like if anybody deserves to have an extra year of eligibility, it's them because you got a lot of kids who really they're really depending on getting that scholarship. It don't matter if it's D3 or D1, they're depending on that scholarship to get basically a ticket out of a bad situation, whether that's living conditions or parent household. So I feel like those high school seniors, high school athletes in general, not even dealing with football, because we all think it's just football. Football not the only sport being affected by this. It's going to come a time where it's going to be track season, it's going to be baseball season, and I know the seasons they're going on right now, but you got to realize a lot of these college coaches they're not looking for 2021s no more. That ship has sailed. They're maybe looking at class of 2022, and I'm saying maybe. If anything, right now they're looking at all right. Let's look at class of 2023. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
Yeah, but I feel like the only sport that kind of like it didn't even seem like they had a pause was basketball.
Hmm.
And because with basketball, and I mean you can go baseball too. I mean it's travel teams for everything, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like basketball is the most common or talked about travel stuff like AAU. There's not really for AAU football is spring football. That's spring ball, 7-on-7. And some of that stuff was canceled, some of it wasn't. But I feel like basketball, they probably had the biggest advantage, I want to say, because basketball, I mean, I've seen people from basketball go D1 from a public school,
Hmm.
but the likelihood from football, especially having no film, it's kind of like your chances are very slim. So I feel like I'm not hating on basketball or nothing. I'm happy that everybody, who's playing basketball is still getting to college and playing their sport. I just feel like they had the biggest advantage over every other high school sport because there's multiple ways of being found with basketball. There's rec leagues, there's AAU, there's travel teams, there's this. I just think football is kind of like all or nothing. Football is like probably one of the disadvantages of sports, and even with 7-on-7, that's only for wide receiver, DBs, linebackers, quarterbacks. No,
Yeah.
nobody in the trenches and the DNs, the O linemen. They don't get the same opportunity. I mean, they got camps,
Yeah.
one-on-one camps, but with COVID, a lot of camps got canceled. So I just really feel for, as a lineman, I feel like they probably not gonna get the same opportunities as special skill positions. So that's kind of how I feel about COVID affecting them too.
That's a great point.
Good point, man.
Yeah,
So going back to I believe the debate that we had earlier from the
hmm
I Am Athlete podcast.
yeah,
Yeah, we were. So the topic or the question is: Are NFL? Let's talk NFL. Are NFL athletes? Are they the modern day slaves of or is the NFL the form of modern day slavery? And for me, I say no. And she the lady who brought up that NFL players were basically slaves to the owners or because they're getting paid to do such a thing. I feel like she was just wrong for saying it, and I feel like that was very insulting and just plain out ignorant to compare NFL players who are getting paid millions of dollars to slaves. You can't really compare that.
hmm
And even though she said that basically they're getting paid by the white owners and stuff like that,
hmm
the slaves were you can't compare slavery to the NFL. You can't. And even though slavery is a very touchy subject, slaves are getting beat. You know, they just went through a lot. And NFL players, there's not a single NFL player that's unwillingly playing, unless you're Deshaun Watson who doesn't want to play for the Houston Texans. But there's not a player who's like, man, there's not a player in NFL that's saying, man, I don't want to be in the NFL. You don't have nobody saying that.
hmm
That's my view on that.
So the way I look at it is, okay, I'm not gonna say they a slave to their owner, but I mean, I guess this is everyone, not just sports, not just. We're all slaves to money. We're I mean, and the government and the world makes it that way. Not because we choose to, but I just feel like that's how we can survive. You need money. You can't do anything without money. And of course that's just a way to survive. But I see it as like it's just paper. We're letting this piece of paper determine determine our lives. Like this piece of paper that has no value is determining our future. So I'm gonna re-say what I said earlier when we had this conversation. I'm not gonna say football players or sports are slaves to owners. No, I feel like the world is a slave to money. I guess that's what I was looking at. Like,
Yeah,
they're doing what they got to do. They did put the work in, to get where they were, but it's all for money. And think about it: if we all got money for free, who's playing sports?
Yeah.
If you think about it, like, I mean, that may not make sense, but it's kind of like we're all just doing stuff. Some people have passion for the sport, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Of course.
And some people just play for money. There's plenty of people who just play for money.
Yeah.
Like there's a difference between I'm not gonna say there's a difference between Deshaun Watson and Tom Brady, but you see how Tom Brady is taking a lesser pay to play ball. Like he's winning rings. Like he's
Yeah.
out here. He has passion for the sport.
Mhm.
But I'm not gonna say Deshaun Watson doesn't have passion. He's being held against his own will.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, he deserves that money. Deshaun Watson he's been balling for the past few years, and he deserves that money. But I feel like Tom Brady, you could see the passion in him because like he's just doing it. He's just out here winning rings. And think about it, he should be the highest paid quarterback. He should be the one getting all the money, no matter what his age is. So I just feel like sports isn't slave to owners. We're all slaves to money. but it's only because it has to be that way. That's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, man. So I mean, in my view of it, like, yeah, I feel like that female, she came when the way she presented the issue,
Mm-hmm.
how she came off, like going upon it. She did seem ignorant and just like, and you saw the reaction of like all the athletes in the room, like what? What is she saying? Like, I feel like she could have explained it a little bit better what she meant, because once you're putting the word slavery next to, you know, the NFL or just sports, like we don't really see a correlation there at
Yeah.
all, right? So I mean, kind of like what Justice was saying, I'm looking at maybe the bigger picture where like we're all slaves to money.
Mm-hmm.
Like like okay, so like I know they're getting paid like millions of dollars, right?
Yeah.
But like at the same time, that team owns their rights, if you know what I mean. Like they can trade you when they want to, they can cut you whenever they want to, but that's every job. Because in every contract, there's rules and regulations that, you know, people have to follow. And I mean, it's for anything. So I mean, I can see it when she's trying to like compare it in that aspect of it, where it's like you can't do exactly everything you want, but you're not being held against your will. And that was kind of what slavery was, is being held really against your will. So I mean, I get what she was trying to say, and I felt like she could have worded it a whole lot differently. And slavery is it's really a touchy subject.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, back to just what Jessica was saying, it's just we're all slave to money. Without money, we're like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? We ain't doing nothing. And I mean, with like if we all had money, you're right, who would be really playing sports besides the people that like just really love the sport? You know what I mean? So I mean, like for example, like I mean, I'm not saying, you know, all JJ Watt wants to do is, you know, go for the money, right? But come on, we all know that the Cardinals are not a contender. Like, come on now. That was obviously the best offer on the table with the most money. And like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to see, like saying here, like it's just
Yeah.
going for the
If he
money.
wanted to win, he would go. He would have went to, you know, Green Bay,
Exactly. Take less.
somewhere that's going to take you somewhere. And I'm not saying like the car. I mean, hey, the Cardinals can do whatever they put their mind to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the likelihood of that in the NFC, there are way better teams than them. This I don't see Kyler Murray beating Aaron Rodgers. Not a day in my like ever in my. I mean, but he can. It's possible. But we all know that's not why he went to the Cardinals. That not because I can change the environment of their defense or I can change, you
Right.
know, how things go. He's going because okay, Cardinals aren't a bad team and they're giving me more money than what I probably expected. So why not go there?
Yep.
You know, so I feel like Green Bay and them, they was like, take the deal, and if you don't, I mean, we'll just keep it moving. So I kind of that's how I see it. Like that's a great example. Like JJ Watt. Now, years before, I would say yes, he's playing the sport because he loves it. He's passionate. But you got to think about it. He's been through injuries. He's been through a drought. At one point, they were saying he was the best defensive player.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you go through that drought and you know you're getting more money than you expected, I mean, who wouldn't take that? Especially if you're not playing to win a ring. You're just playing for money.
Yep.
So here's my thing. So you guys both brought up the argument that that people in general, not even just athletes, that people in general are slaves to money. Where for me, in the athlete perspective, for me, I can honestly say that I play the game of football because I love playing it. I'm a very when it comes to football, I'm very passionate about it. You know, I it's for me, it's the reason why. I attend a university. Without football, I think it would be a lot more difficult for me to attend a university than for me playing football. So I can say that I love the game, and it's the game of football has taught me a lot. I met a lot of people who I would never forget, like Coach Mark. Coach Mark he will forever have a lasting impact on me. But the whole like players going to a certain team to get money, I don't think they're necessarily a slave to money. Obviously, I feel like it's different for certain players. If you're a younger player, like let's say Deshaun, right? Let's say they end up not training him and he just becomes a free agent, right? I feel like for him, he's not going to be worrying about the money as much as winning. I feel like he's going to value a winning team that needs a quarterback than a team that has a quarterback that he needs to compete with that gives him a larger contract. So I feel like in JJ's case, he took both of those scenarios combined. He took a team that needed who needed help on defense, not like help like their defense was bad, but they just needed that one more piece to make them better. And he's also getting paid for it. Now, I know the NFC is a tough division, but let's not act like the Cardinals didn't have a top five defense last year. You got Chandler Jones. Who else? You got Isaiah Simmons, who's also going to be developing, and you also got Buda Baker, who's the highest paid. I believe is the highest paid safety currently, depending on free agency how that's going. But yeah, I just think in JJ's case, JJ is still he's not the player he used to be. He's not the DPO. He's not the tight end, defensive end JJ Watt that we all grew up watching, just catching touchdowns and getting sacks. He's not that player no more. He's that those days are long gone. But in JJ's case, he took those two scenarios. He got bread, and he's on a great team. He's on a good team. They're not a great team, but they're a good team. But like now the Cardinals are, they're in pretty good shape. They got AJ Green. Kyler Murray's only going to get better, and their defense has improved so much because now you got two edge rushers and Chandler Jones and JJ Watt. Even though JJ Watt he's not as good as he used to be, it's still JJ Watt. He's still got that strength, and he's still, he's fully capable of throwing any offensive tackle on their butt. But that's just for me. I believe that dealing with the money situation is only two factors. Either you're going to a team that gives you less money, but you have a greater opportunity to become that starter, or you're an older vet who's going to a team that's going to give you the most money because you already proved yourself. I think we can all agree that JJ Watt's a Hall of Famer. For him, there's nothing else he needs to prove. So I think he just did what's best for his career and his money wise.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
it's tough. And I'm not sure if they were top five. I don't think they were. I don't think their defense was all of that. But that maybe resulting in Chandler Jones was like injured most of the season. But I mean when he first made the move, like I could see his thinking process. Like, all right, I got a developing quarterback that has a lot of potential. Got a pretty good offense. Defense. I can help them out. But I just feel like comparing it with all the teams on the table, like you can't tell me that Green Bay didn't offer him something. I think they could have really used a JJ Watt, but like it's just like I don't know. Like the Cardinals, they're good, but they're not a JJ Watt away from being great, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it's not a bad choice, and I guess the money was good. So I can see your point. So.
Cause
I think
Cardinals are in y'all division, right? E?
yeah, and we got the Niners, them, us, and the Seahawks.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's a tough division, man.
It is. But the last topic, and it deals with college athletes again. Do you believe that a free education is enough for college athletes? Like just all their college fees, they don't gotta pay a dime to go to college. Do you feel like that's enough for a college athlete?
No, I feel like since that rule was in place, I always felt like college athletes should get paid. But on the other hand, I do see why colleges don't do it because, okay, yes, they're going to school for free, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are academic people who go to school for free, but they can get jobs, right?
Yeah.
Or I mean, I guess colleges see the inequality where college athletes are depending on not their academics, but they're relying on, their physical abilities to get money. Now I can see that, but I feel like that should cancel out. Like they put in all this work. Like I don't know what a college day looks like, but from what I've heard, even at a D3 school, go to class. Wait, you got to wake up for morning workouts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you got meetings, then you got class, then you got more meetings, then you got practice. And then your full day is already gone. And then you still got to do homework. You still got to do well in school with that education. And I just see it as like, okay, yes, academic students are going for academic reasons, but they're still able to get paid. They can still go get a job. Like I don't I don't think that's fair. Like even that's inequality right there. Like okay, they can get a job, but college athletes can't. Like college football players, college basketball players, college baseball players. Like why can't they get paid for using their physical abilities that they've been grinding for? That they wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, go through a lot of training, a lot of spring workouts, summer workouts, and then there's a season. So I feel like they should get more than just free education. I think they should also be paid. It don't have to be a crazy amount. I'm not saying they gotta have an NFL contract, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying like they can get, some. And of course, some people do get paid from that, from their school with a stipend. Um, but I don't think that's enough. I don't. You know. Now you do be seeing some college athletes with designer,
Yeah.
and you got and that kind of questions like, where are they getting that money from? It can't. I mean, maybe they come from a well family and they have money, but the
Mm-hmm.
likelihood of that, it's not slim. But it's like, come on now, like they want to do other stuff, other than just buy food and survive, you know. So I just feel like they should be, just giving more than just because at the end of the day, they're bringing all their school this money. They're bringing all of this money to the school, and they can't get paid a little bit, not just a little bit of money. Stadiums be packed when it COVID before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-COVID, stadiums were packed. Their money income is crazy. They're paying for food. And I mean, I know some of that goes to the school, but what about the rest of the money? Y'all are making more than enough money for the school. So I'm just questioning, like, okay, what are y'all doing with the rest of the money? Yeah, y'all could be putting some in the scholarships, right? Y'all could be putting some into the school for like, things that they need to fix. But like, I just can't wrap my head around all that money being used. And I mean, I guess some I don't know, students get in for free.
Yeah,
Do what?
Students get in the games for free.
at least at my school.
I don't think they do. I
Uh,
don't. I think
well,
I think it's the ticket prices are probably cheaper just because they go to the school, but I don't think they go for free.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking like, man, that's a lot of money that you're making. And I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of money for a D1 school, just to function, electricity, water,
Yeah.
um, but I just think they have a little bit more money that they can be giving athletes. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah. I think that they should get paid. It's definitely unfair. It's unfair. They're going through all this work, waking up early, going to practice, still having to do homework and keep up a certain GPA to stay on the football team. And I mean, like, and even during the off season, still working out. It's an all year thing, and I think they should get paid a little bit. I mean, I mean, looking at it from the other side of, I guess, what some people can think is that for those people who rely on their academics and weren't fortunate enough to get a scholarship, they're having to be in like $100,000 in debt off of school, and that's a lot of money. And so what those kind of people could be thinking is like, well, you guys are getting all that for free. You don't have to worry about being in debt and stuff like that. And what you guys are doing is basically giving that money back to the school that you don't have to pay. So I see it from both sides, but I mean, in my personal opinion, they should definitely be able to get paid something because all of us really come in as broke college students, and like we said earlier, I mean, we're all slaves to money, so we all need money.
And I also just look at it like, why can't they make a YouTube for fun? I mean, if they end up getting paid, I mean, yeah, they end up getting paid. But I mean, they're taking their time out of their day. Think about it. Playing football, being a sport, playing a sport, I mean. And all they want to do is make a YouTube video. Make some content, you know, and some people, they don't do it for the money. They just do it because they genuinely like making content. Like they like filming their lives. They like doing stuff like that. So I kind of feel like people like destroying like I mean, of course he ended up making money now because I mean he's not in the college, but like I feel like he genuinely liked making content, and that's not fair that they can't do something that they like because of money. Like
Yeah.
because of money that not even coming from you guys. It's coming from money that they're working for and that they are grinding for. It's not like they're getting advertised by. I mean, they're building their brand with YouTube, yes, but it's not like YouTube is paying them. I mean, they are paying them, but like it's just like it's not like a Nike average endorsement. Like they're not getting no crazy stuff. I mean, they just getting however much work they put in, they getting that money right back. So that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, for me, of course I'm gonna say yes. Yeah, like right Ronald said, we go in as broke college students, but some players, I don't think I know the bigger the school you go to, the bigger that stipend check is gonna be. I remember my sophomore year at DeMatha, one of the alums who went to Ohio State, he just came back and he was iced out. This is the time where Yeezys were starting to become popular. He was iced out on the neck, on the wrist. He was wearing Yeezys. I'm like, like, how you getting all this stuff, man? Stipend check. Everybody knowing it's not something new. It's not stipend check. But even that's not enough. Because some players in some schools they don't get that. I think some even FCS, some FCS schools don't get that stipend check, and you really rely on your parents giving you like change, like a weekly allowance but yeah, a weekly allowance from your parents. So it's kind of like I don't understand why it's such a big hassle for when athletes feel like they need to get paid, because the school himself is using your image and likeness and you're not getting a dime out of it. And I just find that crazy how like now, and I think 2 years like they're going to implement it where you can get paid for your image and likeness. But it's so crazy how it's just now being stated that you're able to do that. Like why is this now being let out? You know, why are now athletes getting to the point where they're able to get paid? I don't understand why the NCAA is so strict about how people get money. If you're able to get money because of your talent, you should be able to get money from that. I don't understand why that's such a big issue. You know, they're the reason why. I'm gonna be honest. Without these sports teams, like even let's say like Georgetown. I didn't know Georgetown for academics. I knew them because of their basketball team in Patrick Ewing. I didn't know there was an Ivy League school. A lot of these universities and colleges would not be known without their sports teams. But yet they're not giving nothing back to their athletes. And yes, having a free education that's a blessing. I'm not going to knock that. You can't knock free education down. You can't. But if you're able to get paid for your talents before you go pro, or even if you go pro, you should be able to do that because a lot of these athletes, they're going to be in a situation where I pray this happens to nobody. They're going to be in a situation where they're going to get hurt and they may not ever be able to play the game that they love. God forbid something happens to my knee and I can't play football no more. Now I really got to focus on school. I'm not saying that, with football, I'm not fully focused on school, but you got to be 50-50 with it, or 60-65 and 45 with 35 with football. It can't be like that. So that's my view on it. I feel like we should get paid, and I don't understand why it's such a hassle.
Exactly. And what I also wanted to say was that yeah, I just felt like when you said your whole knee, God forbid, something happens to your knee, but like in that, like what schools are gonna do is something serious like that happens to a player, they're gonna probably take that scholarship away, right? And then
Yep.
they're gonna leave you out there to dry, where now you gotta pay all this stuff, and like they're not gonna help you support it. So I mean, I just don't like that rule. I don't know why they came out with that.
Yeah, and then for me, I find it. I know I really didn't want because I'll see like Instagram posts that deal with this subject, and I look in the comments. There's a whole bunch of older folks who will just say, "Oh, they get a free education. Why should they get paid?" I'm like, "Why not? Why are you so offended of even just the thought of these college athletes that you go out and you support and you buy their merch and you buy their image and likeness? You feel offended that they're going to get paid. If anything, if you were, I would hope that if you were a fan of me, if you're a fan of me in college sports, I will hope that you would buy my merch so it can benefit me. Because you're not only benefiting the school, but you're going to benefit me if I'm getting paid for it. So you're helping two causes at that time. I don't know. It's good that they're I think in 2 years, if not sooner, we're going to be able to get paid. But I just don't understand why it took this long. I feel like from the get go, when college sports were getting popular, they should have been already been getting paid. You got all these colleges and universities making millions of dollars, yet we don't even get a cent. So that's
Yeah.
that's my view.
And I'm sure EA probably wouldn't even have mind paying college athletes
Yeah,
just
they
to use their name in a video game that's bringing them a lot of money.
Yep.
They wouldn't have mind paying the athletes some money. That's just the NCAA just being petty, you know. And I don't know, maybe NCAA could have end up getting a contract with EA or something. Like I just feel like they was just looking at it like, oh, they're getting paid. Oh no, we don't want this. Like I don't know. And I feel like maybe maybe NCAA might have, if they were to allow it, I feel like they would have took all the money. They wouldn't they wouldn't pay college athletes. They would take the money for them using NCAA in their game So like how the players get paid in Madden, the NCAA just would have took all that money instead of specific players getting paid. So I just feel like college is just crazy. I respect y'all for going there.
Well, that's gonna end tonight's episode. I want to thank all the viewers and subscribers. Make sure you like and comment, and thank you, Justice, for joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe to his content, and thank you for joining us, Just.
No problem. Thank you for having me. Like I said, I'm always down for podcasts. Just let me know, and I always join.
All right. Like, comment, subscribe. His channel will be in the description, guys. Thank you. Be out.